Galaxy S24 Ultra is the most popular Android flagship out there and costs $1,300, and Nothing Phone 2a just launched with a price tag of $330. So what's the catch? I mean, it even has Glyphs on the back? Frankly, I was surprised at how many areas Nothing Phone 2a is beating the Ultra. To better compare these phones, I introduced the Techmo Value Index. This index measures the quality of the phone, its performance, battery life, thermals, camera, and software. After I rate the phone from 1 to 100, I will put it in a formula to adjust it to the cost. First, let's talk about the performance. Nothing Phone 2a has a Dimensity 7200 Pro chipset, and the unit that I bought from Amazon has 8GB of RAM. One downside of the phone is UFS 2.2, which means your storage is on the slower side. To be precise, it is 3 times slower than the Galaxy S24 Ultra. You do notice the performance difference, especially when you are taking pictures. It usually takes a few seconds for the phone to process the image. During day-to-day life, I then noticed a stuttering from Nothing Phone, and it ran smoothly apart from a few occasions. Of course, coming from Galaxy S24 Ultra, I felt the phone was not as snappy, but after a day I got used to it. For the peak performance test, I tested 2 benchmarks, AnTuTu and 3D Mark. In the AnTuTu test, I got a score of 1.5 million for S24 Ultra and 600,088K for Nothing Phone 2a. The CPU score of Nothing Phone is half of the Ultra, but the GPU is 1/3 of the performance. By the end of the test, Nothing 2a is slightly cooler. In 3D Mark, Nothing Phone 2a got a much lower score, around 1.1K compared to 3.9 of Ultra. This means you should forget about heavy gaming on this phone. On day-to-day tasks, this difference will show itself in 2 parts. One, if you play a 4K video, you will notice a stuttering, and second, when taking pictures, it takes a few seconds to process it on the background if you open the image immediately after capturing it. One important thing during the whole test was that the phone stayed cool. I know that this S24 Ultra has a higher resolution and has more raw CPU power, and naturally the temperatures go higher. But I was impressed by how the thermals on Nothing 2a are being managed. In real life, it means if you are doing intensive tasks such as video calls, Google Maps navigation, or gaming, your phone won't drop the performance and won't be a hot ball, unlike S24 Exynos. If you live in a tropical and hot area, or you plan to go on a vacation to Spain, this will help a lot. By the way, I'm going to do a similar test to A35 and A55 and also compare Nothing Phone 2a to those devices next week, so subscribe to not miss that video. Let's move on to battery test. My impression of the battery life of this device is just great. I used it as my main device with WhatsApp and everything installed for a couple of days, and after 2 days of heavy use, I had still 20% left, and the battery was still not even fully calibrated. It's probably the best battery life I've experienced after my Motorola G7 Power. After running the benchmarks, I ran 4K YouTube videos and also Google Meet. Again, unlike a specific phone that I won't name it, and you can see it on the right side, it didn't hit at all and didn't use much power. Even on 5G Google Meet call, it was always using less power than the S24 Ultra. You can see the power drawn from the phones in this chart during the whole test. On average, Nothing Phone 2a used 22% less power compared to Ultra. I mean, again, I know this S24 Ultra has a better resolution. Nevertheless, I'm impressed by the efficiency of this phone. I tested some budget phones before, and I had to put the phone in the fridge to cool it down between tests. Just saying. Moving to thermals, this phone is one of the coolest phones I've ever had. Pun intended. Through the whole test of benchmarks, 4K YouTube video, and Google Meet, the phone got barely hot. The back is also kept cool, unlike the S24 Ultra. It's one of the problems I have with almost all flagship phones and non-plastic backs. For example, after letting both phones cool down a bit after the test, the S24 Ultra back was 37 while Nothing Phone 2a was 34, and that means I could hold Nothing comfortably in my hand, but the Ultra would make my skin uncomfortable. Also, you can look at the chart for temperature during the whole test. As you can see, it stayed cooler than the S24 Ultra for an average of 3 degrees Celsius, which is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So the total score, considering performance, battery, and thermals is 30 out of 40. This is a raw score and has not been adjusted to price yet. The baseline is S24 Ultra with a score of 40 out of 40. I put all the details of the score in the description down below with the link to the phone. Moving on to software and ecosystem, my experience with Nothing was great. It is a skin on top of Android stock with minimalism in mind. The icons are all the same color, which helps you use your phone less. You can of course change the icon pack or just use the standard one. There are a bunch of cool widgets and customizations you can add. For example, I particularly like the step counter widget, which is quite cool. The weather widget is my other favorite. You can also add quick action buttons on your home screen, which is something I like. You can also hide the app icons you don't want others to see. For example, I had these two apps, of course, for no particular reason, just to show you how it works. I also love the fact that the phone comes with 0 bloatwares on it. If you care about your privacy and don't like the intrusive behavior some budget phones show, I would say Nothing is a safe choice. They didn't even add Glyph Composer pre-installs. Kudos Nothing for respecting customers' choice. They also offer 3 years of software support in total. I give the software and ecosystem 10 out of 15. Well, so far the phone is amazing, right? So what's the catch? I think I should just show you. The phone photos sometimes are just bad. I mean, bad. They are almost not usable at all. If you're in a condition that there is too much light or too little light or direct light or not direct light, I mean anything that is not normal, the photo quality can suffer significantly. That said, the camera can take good pictures under good lighting conditions. You can take a look at a few examples here. Also, to my surprise, the selfie camera quality is quite nice. I think this is super important for people like me that has a lot of video calls in Meets or MS Teams or Slack or whatever tool your colleagues can get into you. The interesting thing is I did a survey and only 15% of you said that the camera is important to you. So probably they've done something similar to their demographic and decided to cut the budget on the camera department. I give the camera 5 out of 15 and I'm being very generous here. The only reason it didn't get lower than this is because there is a pro mode that you can shoot in RAW and have control over shutter speed. Now we are talking about the front camera and video calls. I should mention the reception on this phone is just great. In my apartment, the signal is better than on the S24 Ultra. I liked the signal over the whole day, and most of the time I was getting 3 out of 4, while on Ultra it was sometimes 2 out of 4. You can take a look at the chart that I made. There is also a mode that disconnects from 5G automatically if it doesn't detect an internet speed increase to save battery. During battery test, I turned this feature off. Moving on to the screen, the display of the phone is large. It does not pass 1000 nits brightness. At the same time, it's visible under direct sunlight, and that's the only thing that matters. It's also not QHD Plus like the Ultra, and you do notice it. On the other hand, it doesn't come with a grainy screen. Just saying, it is a $330 phone, and it can make a screen non-grainy. A flagship should too. Take note, Samsung. All in, I give the display a score of 7 out of 15. It's visibly less vivid than the S24 Ultra, and the lower resolution is visible, especially on such a large 6.7-inch display. The design of the phone is quite nice. The front display has a small notch. I mean, it looks much better than any Apple flagship. It is obvious they did put a lot of thought and love into the phone. Bezels are not big considering the price range, and they are symmetric. I like the back. Yes, it does get smudges easily, but you probably will add a case anyway. The phone is super light for its size. Some people may not like the back, but just put a case on it. Problem solved. I love how on YouTube everyone is always pretending people are not using a case when they use their phone. I only know 2 people in my entire social circle who don't use a case. Additional features are a bit lacking here. It does have IP54, so you probably don't need to worry about rain or splash, but don't throw it in the washing machine. The phone is quite innovative, namely the Glyphs. Even though I'm happy to live without them, I don't think Nothing thinks that they are that useful. It's more for branding, similar to how Lenovo always includes the red sticks on their keyboards, just to create associations and brand awareness. You can use it as a timer. It can be cool if you have ADHD maybe, and you can use the feature as a tool for productivity. You can also use it when playing music, and it's actually quite cool. I did use this feature a couple of times while playing music. The speaker is also nice considering the price tag. So considering sensors, innovation, design, ergonomics, and display, I give it 20 out of 30. The final result is out and the raw score is 65 out of 100, where 100 is the Galaxy S24 Ultra. If you put it on the TVI or Techmo value index using this fancy formula, which adjusts to the price, you get 122 out of 100. That means you get $1.2 value for every dollar you spend. Let me know if you agree with this rating. My verdict is that if you live in Europe or some tropical area like Philippines, Indonesia, or India, and you're looking for a unique budget phone that does not look like every other mass-produced budget phone out there, Nothing Phone 2a is a solid option. It is a reliable phone with great battery life and it doesn't get hot under any situation. You have nothing to worry about apart from the camera and gaming, and yes, I waited the whole video to make this fun. If you like this kind of content, watch the video that is popping up on the screen next. Thanks for tuning in to Techmo, have a lovely day, and until the next one, bye!